Finally, it's a new Kanye West album.
Now if I fuck this model and she just bleach her asshole and I get bleach on my t-shirt, I'ma feel like an asshole. I was high when
What?
Hey everyone, getterthegreat here with my first ever album review. Today I'm going to be talking about the album The Life of Pablo by Kanye West. Now, Kanye West is a man that needs no introduction. I'm sure you've heard about him somewhere recently. He's definitely known for his great production and his constantly changing musical style over the years. I've always been a huge fan of Kanye. I think The College Dropout and Late Registration are both great albums. Graduation's good. Dark Twisted Fantasy is also an amazing album. Wasn't a huge fan of Yeezus. I didn't think that album was terrible or anything, but it just felt kind of lazy. The lyrics are pretty bad on it. Here we are with this new album, The Life of Pablo, which I've been anticipating for a long time. Leading up to the release of this album, he had several album titles that he went through, and he only decided on the final title a day before this album was supposed to come out. We had the Yeezy Season 3 premiere, where he played the album in its entirety and showed it in theaters across the world, but knowing Kanye, the day later he just changed the album track list again, rendering it kind of pointless. I had a lot of speculation on what this album was going to sound like. He had a few singles come out before this release. Almost a year ago, he came out with the song All Day, and then he also had the song Only One, and neither of those songs made the cut on this album. The first real single we had was Real Friends, and I thought this song was fantastic. It really had me hyped up for this new album. I thought we would see a return to form from Kanye West. However, my dreams were crushed because this album I consider to be a huge disappointment, and I'll tell you why. I had a bad feeling going into this album, with all the tracklist changes and last-minute decisions. I had a fear this would be a really scattershot album, and my fears came to fruition. You wouldn't know this, though, from the first track, Ultralight Beam. I think this is one of the best tracks to ever open up a Kanye West album. This song features very minimal production, swelling synths, a 4-beat kick drum that comes in every once in a while, tons of vocal contributions. We have Mary J. Blige, The Dream, Kirk Franklin is on this. Chance the Rapper delivers a great verse at the end of the song, and Kanye himself, he sings a little bit on it. His voice isn't fantastic, but he has this like flat quality to his voice, but on this song, it comes off okay. The next song, Father Stretch My Hands, is part one of a two-part song. This song starts off with a really nice soul sample. I love the sample he puts in here, but it quickly dives into this trap hi-hat, auto-tune slather song. Kid Cudi does an okay job on the chorus here. I'm not a huge fan of Kid Cudi by any stretch of the imagination, but I think that his vocals here, they actually come off pretty nicely. That's all until Kanye comes in with this line about fucking a model with a bleached asshole. You have to listen to it for yourself to hear this, but it's probably one of the worst things that Kanye has ever rapped. This song ends kind of out of nowhere and transitions into part two, which features someone named Designer. I've never heard of this guy, but he sounds exactly like Future. Part 2 really isn't all that different from Part 1. It's a little bit more upbeat. Kanye has a better verse on this song. He references the broke jaw that he talked about on the song Through the Wire, and I heard a mention of his mother on there as well. At the end of this track, there's this weird vocal snippet. It reminds me of something that'd be on like a prog rock record, like a very synthesized vocal. I can't really explain it, but I kind of like this weird addition. The next song, Famous, features Rihanna and a very glitzy beat. This song kind of reminds me of something that would come off of Graduation. Once again, we get some cringeworthy lines from Kanye. He takes a couple hits at Taylor Swift. I really don't know why. I wish he would kind of just leave this thing alone. He says that he made that bitch famous. He comes in a line here where he says that him and Taylor might still have sex and that he made that bitch famous. I know this really isn't supposed to be taken completely seriously by any means, but I just really don't care for this lyrical content by Kanye. This is not the reason why I ever liked him in the first place. The next song on the track listing, we have a song called Feedback. This track kind of reminds me of something that would come off Yeezus. The beat is very abrasive and noisy. There's some very annoying screechy noises in the background. I'm not in love with the lyrical content on this song, but Kanye sounds like a madman. He sounds fucking crazy on this track. I kind of wish he would have given us this kind of anger on more tracks on Yeezus. This album also sees the return of skits and interludes, something that's been missing from Kanye albums since Late Registration. I really don't welcome their return here because they don't add anything to the album. The first one, Low Lights, which is, in my opinion, is the best interlude on this album, it's just used to set up the song Highlights. The other two interludes we have here, the first being I Love Kanye, which is an a cappella verse of Kanye just rapping about how people miss the old Kanye and how now there's so many Kanyes. Really, this song is harmless, but I don't see why it added anything to the album. The last interlude that we get is the Silver Surfer intermission, which is a voicemail by Max B giving Kanye permission to use the term wavy. If this album was still called Waves, I guess I could see why this was on there. The song Highlights, I consider to be kind of forgettable. This song features The Dream and Young Thug singing on the track, as well as Kanye. All three of them use autotune. I'm not a hater of people that use autotune, but I really just wish Kanye would stop doing this. The latter half of this track actually features a pretty interesting progression on the beat. There comes this part where Kanye is rapping over just a kick drum and some hand snaps, and it progresses into this part with some beautiful piano chords, and then some fuzzy, over-compressed bass, something that's quite a staple of Kanye at this point. Also, another notable thing about the song is the line where Kanye says, "Me and Ray J could be friends if we didn't love the same bitch." Like, the next song, Wave, features Chris Brown in the chorus. Really isn't even that good. I don't see why Chance the Rapper fought to have this track included on the album. Actually, a really gorgeous beat. I think the production on this song is awesome. It's just too bad that there's really no contribution from Kanye on this song. Which brings me to another point. 2 points, actually. Half the songs on this album feel like they were afterthoughts. Like, he couldn't even bother to finish half these tracks. And my next point, Kanye is barely on any of these songs. His presence is seriously missed on almost half the songs here. He either only has 4 lines and then a guest will come in and take over, or he'll sing a little bit and then let the instrumental kind of just ride it out from there. You can really tell that a lot of the tracks here were like last minute things for him. I will say the next song, FML, featuring The Weeknd, is a good departure from the last few bad tracks. This song has a great dark atmosphere. This song features some great lyrics about staying faithful in a relationship, even with all this fame and all these like girls trying to come at you. Another thing I like about this song is there's this great sample that ends the track. It's only about a minute long, but it's this weird modulated voice, kind of similar to the one that cut off the song Father Stretch My Hands Part 2. I thought this was a great way to end the track. Then we come to the song Real Friends, which was one of the pre-release singles. It was actually the first single that they released for this record. This song has a really moody, somber beat, kind of minimal. It's got a Pi Dollar Signs feature. Kanye sings about disconnection with his friends and family, all because of his fame. This is one of the first songs on the album where Kanye really gives you any food for thought in the lyrics. I think this track is great. The song Wolves, while I don't think it's terrible or anything, I just kind of find it underwhelming. There just really isn't that much to love about this song. You have really minimal beat, just a bass line, some falsetto vocals, Kanye slathered in autotune. The effect of the autotune here is fucking horrible. And the lines at the end of the song about Mary and Joseph and the club, just they kind of come across like what? Next we have the song 30 Hours, which I think the song is pretty good. It's got some thoughtful lines from Kanye. He actually really rides the beat out on this one. The sample on the song has this really low quality feature about it. I'm not sure if this was completely intentional or not, but I think it adds to the song. My only complaint about this song is the last 2 minutes where Kanye has nothing to say. He just lets the beat ride out and he just kind of bullshits all over this thing. And I wish he would have just cut it off 2 minutes earlier. Then we come to what I consider to be the best track on the album, No More Parties in LA. On this song, Mad-lib handles the production, and we get a great feature by Kendrick Lamar. Kendrick Lamar never disappoints, by the way. But in kind of a surprising twist, Kanye West outshines Kendrick on this song. He gives us a lot of charismatic bars. It's strange to think that the first track listing of this album had this song omitted from it. Like, he wasn't even going to include this song on it. And here in the context of this album, this is like the best song here. This would have been the perfect song to end the album off of, but instead he tacked on two completely unnecessary tracks. The first being Facts, a new version of Facts. When this song first came out, I thought it was horrible. The lyrics are really lazy, and it sounds like something that would have been off a mixtape in like 2008. The new beat here is actually really impressive. It's a huge improvement on the Metro Boomin produced one that came out a couple weeks ago, but it really doesn't add anything to this song. It still just feels like a lazy nothing song. The final track here, Fade, which features Post Malone, kind of has me like scratching my head. This song has like a rave house style beat to it, no rapping whatsoever, and we get some seriously overmodulated vocals by Post Malone. And I don't even know if Kanye's on this song. I think I heard him like one time maybe. Just like a really weird way to end this record. But I guess it makes sense considering how inconsistent this album was up until this point. So yeah, I was really disappointed by this album. The production for the most part was really good, but some songs sounded like unfinished, like the mastering wasn't done. The lyrics were really lazy. This is the first Kanye album that feels like just an album. Every album before this, Kanye was giving us stylistic changes. He always gave us something to look forward to. Like, what was the next Kanye West album going to sound like? This one just sounds like a clusterfuck of all his albums before, but with none of the features that made me love those albums. Every once in a while, he did give us like some good tracks. The song Ultralight Beam, Real Friends, FML, and No More Parties in LA. I thought all those were great songs, but they're surrounded by mediocre ones. So I'm feeling a 4.5 out of 10 on this album. If you disagree, I would love to know why. Leave a comment in the box below. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm a brand new YouTube channel, and I kind of need all the support I can get. So, till next time.